Hi everybody, my name is Christy. Welcome to my page. I am going to be doing some commentary for you guys. I have decided to finally join the YouTube family in order to get some information out there and to do some commentary on very ludicrous stories. So I'm going to dig right in with one that is, wow, I mean, this is something that's been blowing my mind on Twitter, actually, and it involves the pain management community. I don't know how many of you have actually heard about what's going on in the pain management sector. Excuse me. But apparently, about 2/3, let me backtrack here. There are about 10 million pain management patients that go, they see their doctors every month, they have issues wrong with them, they have deteriorating bones, they've got pins in their bones, they've got very painful diseases like sickle cell, fibromyalgia, endometriosis, the list goes on. And you have this group of people that's with an organization called PROP who is in cahoots with Indivior, who makes Suboxone. As you've probably noticed, there are a lot of commercials right now on Suboxone, and they've pretty much lumped all of the pain management patients in with street addicts doing heroin and fentanyl. So, we're going to kind of dig into this a little bit. I printed out some stuff, a couple of articles I found online. One I found on Twitter, and the other one I actually looked up on a government website. So, and before we get started, I will say this is not the only thing I'm going to be concentrating on this channel. Just so that you know, I will be doing a weekly commentary on various different news things that happen, whether it be in sports or politics or just something stupid going on around town, whatever. Sometimes they'll be fun, sometimes they won't. Who knows? But anyway, first thing that I want to point out to you is this. This right here, this actually kind of made me go, huh? Because and I've got to put my reading glasses on for this. If I don't, I can't see that well, and I stumble on my words. Because, getting old. So, chronic opioid treatment may raise risk of post-traumatic stress disorder, study finds. Apparently I can't talk very well with my glasses on either, so. This made me laugh. While opioids are often prescribed to treat people with trauma-related pain, i.e. a car accident or a shooting or something like that, a new UCLA-led study suggests doctors should use caution before prescribing the drug to those who they believe may experience severe stress in the future in order to reduce the risk the patient will develop PTSD. You'll notice right there I even wrote and underlined, huh? Because apparently these doctors are now psychic. Of course, coming out of UCLA, what do you expect? Yeah, you can tell I'm a real huge fan of California these days, right? But, I've got PTSD, and I can guarantee you it had absolutely nothing to do with the medications I happen to be on. My PTSD was induced when my godson took his own life, and I was there before the ambulances were. So that was a very life-changing experience for me, and it didn't alter my medication or anything like that, and it didn't happen because of my medication. So this is just idiotic junk science right here. So we're going to do this right on the floor. Now, this is actually a nice little article that I had found on a government website, and I'll put the link in the description so that you can read the whole thing, because I'm just going to read out some highlighted bits and pieces here. This was written by Frank Brennan, and says the concept of access to pain management as a human right has gained increasing currency in recent years. Yes, pain management is a human right. Finally, we examine this right in light of the twin crises of inadequate access to pain management and the opioid crisis in the United States and other nations. I'm guessing what they're talking about here is you've got the crisis of pain management patients being undertreated because doctors are afraid to prescribe opioids because they're being raided by the DEA. And then you've got the opioid crisis on the street, which is heroin and illicit fentanyl, which are the huge problems. They're even pressing illicit fentanyl into pill form, all right, in order to make counterfeit pills to make money off of. And these are things that you need to be very careful of, which is why when a pain management patient gets knocked off of their medications, sometimes they turn to street drugs if they're desperate enough to find relief. Sometimes they just put up with the pain. And says, finally, I already read that? Okay. M.A. Somerville says, pain relief treatment is a fundamental human right. M.J. Cousins writes, I put it to you that the relief of severe, unrelenting pain would come at the top of a list of basic human rights. So here we're already talking about pain management being a human right. We have a human right, according to the United Nations, to pain management. Since the 1990s, the notion of access to pain management as a human right has gained significant currency as both legal and public health experts have sought to unpack its dimensions, implications, and limitations. Though no longer novel, the concept of the human right to pain management remains an evolving one that warrants further examination and analysis. Well, all they have to do is come talk to any chronic pain patient that has been on their medications for years or decades, and they'll see that the majority of us don't even bother increasing our doses. If our doses are increased, it's the doctor suggesting it because the problem has actually gotten worse. When you have a bone disease, a degenerative bone disease especially, it's not going to get better on its own. It's not going to get better with wishful thinking. I'm pagan, so, one of my first things, I go to holistic medicine first. But boy, I tell you what, I do believe in Western medicine. We examined the foundation of the concept of access to pain management as a human right and its implications for medicine. We argue that certain obligations flow from this right for governments to fulfill. In other words, the government can't step in and say you can't have pain management. So what they're doing right now by sending the DEA, which is a government entity, basically they're like government police, they're going in, they're arresting doctors, and it's the government overstepping. Down here says, opioids have a pivotal role in the management of moderate to severe acute and cancer pain. In CNCP, excuse me, I have a little bit of dyslexia going on here, means chronic non-cancer pain. Their role is more limited, although required in certain circumstances, which means it's up to the doctor. If the doctor feels that you are in need of these medications, the doctor's going to prescribe these medications, especially if nothing else is working. Despite the prevalence of pain and its impact on quality of life, undertreatment remains a major problem. Absolutely. Lack of an acknowledgement of pain and racial biases. The opioid crisis in the United States has resulted in restrictions with regard to legitimate access to opioid medication and inadequate control for patients. So what's happening here is that women have a harder time getting pain management than men do. Women have more painful issues than men do. Women are built differently than men are. And unfortunately, if you're a woman and you're also a person of color, they're discriminating on that too. And this is me passing on what I'm reading online on different forums, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. I've been reading it. I've been watching Periscopes. And it's horrible out there. And as far as inadequate pain control, people are being force tapered off their medications. They're being taken down to under the 90 morphine milligram equivalent, which to a lot of people is way too low. They're cutting cancer patients off of their medications. I actually know an 87-year-old man who broke his leg, went in, and they would not give him any opiate medications because they said he might become addicted. At 87 years old. There's a problem. All right? I mean, it's a huge problem. And when you have people being cut off of medications that have kept them stable and functional and able to work and enjoy life and be able to go out with their family and do things, you take that medication away, now you've got somebody that's bedridden, that's depressed because they can't get up, they're hurting all the time. And some people are committing suicide because they can't handle the pain because it's so severe. You have people dying of heart attacks and of strokes because the pain is so severe, it's putting the body into shock and it's putting undue stress on the body. People don't realize that. Let's see here. Despite the progress made in some regions, the fact remains that approximately 3/4 of the world's population live in countries with inadequate or non-existent access to medicines containing narcotic drugs, which leads to unnecessary pain and suffering. This is also true. And I'm going to assume that in this particular statement, they're talking about third world countries. Now, what's sad is that America is a first world country. We are a capitalist nation. We are a very wealthy country. There is no need to be causing all this pain and suffering because you have some sort of moral bias against medications people are taking. You know, and when people are taking them legitimately, they're looked at, they're scrutinized, it's just horrible. It's horrible the way people are being treated right now. People are literally being tortured to death in this country. It's almost like a genocide. I swear. This is titled Right to Pain Management. For instance, the American Medical Association states that physicians have an obligation to relieve pain and suffering. And the World Health Assembly resolved that it is an ethical duty of healthcare professionals to alleviate pain and suffering. Pain management and palliative care are basic human rights. So, what we need to do is we need to get a bunch of people together and just write to the UN, tweet to the UN, let them know what's going on. Because back when the makers of Suboxone wanted to take the street addicts off of heroin and put them on Suboxone, the UN actually stepped in, and this was in 2012, 2014. They stepped in and said, no, you can't do that. It's a violation of their human rights. They have the right to put whatever they want into their own bodies. And you cannot force them off of one medication and onto another one. Yet, you get chronic pain patients, and that's exactly what they're doing now. And the people on the board, I'm not going to say last names, but we'll just say, well, actually, I will say last names. I just won't say first names. We're going to say Kolodny, Gerling, and Lemke. And I'm going to liken those three to Dr. Mengele. They're making a ton of money off of this stuff, off of their Suboxone. They sit on the board of Indivior. From what I've heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, if it's not true, please correct me in the comments. The attorney that's suing the manufacturing companies of oxycodone, hydrocodone, etc., is actually married to Kolodny, who sits on the board of Suboxone. You see, there's a correlation there. There are a lot of politicians, including some of our presidential candidates at the moment, who own stock in biomedical companies, which last I heard was pretty illegal, and it would be interesting to out these people. I really wish that we could. I wish we could find a way to out these people, because they're making a ton of money off of Americans' pain and suffering. Global Days theme. The relief of pain should be a human right. Declaration of Montreal, and recognizing the inherent dignity of all persons and the withholding of pain treatment is profoundly wrong, leading to unnecessary suffering that is harmful, we declare that the following human rights must be recognized throughout the world. Article 1. The right of all people to have access to pain management without discrimination. Article 2. The right of all people to have acknowledgement of their pain and to be informed about how it can be assessed and managed. Now, Article number 3. The right of all people in pain to have access to appropriate assessment and treatment of the pain by adequately trained health professionals. Unfortunately, our health professionals aren't as adequately trained, because the ones that are being arrested and strong-armed by the DEA at the moment. Now, I have also talked to a couple of veterinarians, animal doctors. They're not even allowed to prescribe regular opioid medications to pets that are in a lot of pain. Dogs get hit by a car, oh well, put them to sleep. I mean, that's basically what I'm getting from this. That's the attitude that people have right now. And, it's just looked on with such a stigma, it's sickening. To think that we are doing this to innocent pets is just horrible. It's unthinkable. How these people can sleep at night knowing this is going on is beyond me. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to leave the link to this particular website in the description of this video so that you can read it yourself. Now, there are a couple of things that I've done, with my own pain management in conjunction with my medications so that I can get up and exercise, because physical therapy did not work for me, as I'm sure it hasn't worked for a lot of people, especially when it comes to bones. I mean, it's one thing if you have a broken bone and you're retraining your leg and all that stuff, or you've had a hip replacement, you have to learn how to walk again. But if bones are deteriorating, physical therapy is not going to make them grow back. The best that you can do is relax the muscles around the affected bones. I have found, for me personally, belly dance is a wonderful way to do it. It's low impact. The movements used stretch out the hips, the legs, the back, the shoulders, and it's something that you can do with a walker. It's something that you can do with a cane. You can use them as props. It doesn't discriminate based on weight. You can be very small and thin. You can be very tall and heavy set. It doesn't matter. It is excellent exercise. And what's rewarding about it, you can do it while you're running around doing housework. You can actually go out and perform doing this, doing something artful. Feel like you're doing something for yourself. So in subsequent videos that I'm going to be doing, I will do tutorials on basic belly dance moves that you can use around the house for physical therapy purposes. Now, mind you, I'm not a licensed therapist by any means at all. I worked for an OBGYN office for 1 year. That's about the extent of my medical knowledge. However, I know it works for me, and if it works for me, I'm sure it's going to work for someone else. If it doesn't, then there are other means of getting out there, walking, doing what you can, move around as much as you can. And in the meantime, like I said, I'll do these tutorial videos, and I'll explain exactly how each move is working with things. Like with me, I have a messed up hip. I have scoliosis. I have bursitis. I have osteopenia. I've got degenerative arthritis. I mean, my skeletal system's a mess. But it has helped to loosen up the muscles around the affected areas. You see me kind of already going like this, because my back's a little sore today. But it's something to try. So keep an eye out for those videos. And again, videos that I do, they're not always going to be about this stuff. It's not all going to be medical stuff. It's not all going to be about opiates. It's not all going to be about politics or anything like that. It's going to be, if I see a news story that I think is totally insane, I'm going to get on here. I'm going to say something about it. So anyway, again, for third or fourth time I'm saying this, I'll leave the website for this down below. I'll leave a link to one of my belly dance videos as well, so that you can see exactly how I'm moving. It's very low impact, like I said. And leave in the comments down below what you would like to see as far as more commentary, because I need more material, obviously. And I love just going off on things. If you follow me on Twitter at all, Twitter, and I just got on Instagram again. You can follow me at Midnight Raven. Should be popping up on the screen here any minute, so you can see it. Hit the subscribe button. Alright? Subscribe to the channel. Get your notifications, because I'm going to be putting out some pretty cool videos. And whenever I put up a new video, I know that the little bell doesn't always give you your notifications and everything. I've subscribed to a lot of channels and never get the notifications, so I have to go through my subscriptions. And I will post new videos on my Twitter and my Instagram, however, so that you can go and see them. And on that note, I have probably talked your ear off enough, and you're probably getting sick of hearing my voice. So I will let you go for now, and I will hopefully have another video up next week. Maybe next week I'll go ahead and do a belly dance tutorial. Leave in the comments below, again, what you would like to see me do. If there's a specific story you want me to research and cover, let me know. And hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Instagram. Let's talk. And I will be reading the comments. I will be answering the comments. And again, welcome to my channel. Brand new, obviously my first video. And I will see you guys very, very soon. I love you all. And I'll see you soon. Bye.